Well, welcome again to another edition of African football here on CK Sports. Clive Chaze is my name, with the main man, the only Jaluo, God's gift to women. What else?
Tall, dark, and hungover.
No longer handsome.
Susa, all of them.
The last time you were here on at this very show, our brothers from the East, the Kenyans, weren't happy with some of the comments you made. The only thing they agreed with you was Ruto must go.
You know,
all the others,
let me
they
say
never agreed.
it pinches you the most where it hurts you the most where what's the statement? It what? Where you poke the most, it hurts the most. Something in that line. Yeah. But it's the truth. There's nothing that I said that was not factual. If we are the country, and you know what was so funny? A couple of hours later, it was confirmed
that
they,
by the way, but the tournament
had been postponed
to August 2025.
So true to what we were saying was correct.
Yeah, but Jaru, the tournament, of course, will be happening in August 2021. Hopefully, we are talking about the Championship of African Nations 2024, but it will be happening in 2025. Maybe just to encourage you that if you are watching us and you are yet to subscribe to our YouTube channel, please just subscribe. Just press that subscription button. It takes less than a second. We like the fact that you are commenting on our content, that you are liking on our content, and that you are sharing our content. But Jaluo, the elephant in the room is the 2025 Africa Cup of Nations. The tournament will be happening from the 21st of December to the 16th of January 2026.
Good timing.
So some of us are spending Christmas in Morocco, New Year's Day in Morocco. So
I have a co-host of mine who's been talking about Morocco.
She knows all the host cities of the competition.
All those places. Yeah.
Did that, eh?
Yeah. But you know, it's quite interesting that, you know, it's happening at the tail end of the year. I don't know if it was just like, it was...
No, it was meant to be June and July, but then we have the FIFA Club World Cup happening in the United States of America. So CAF and FIFA tried to agree on how best they can build, they can organize, or Morocco can host this tournament. But this coming week, on the 27th of January, Monday, we shall be having the draw of the competition happening in the city of Rabat, one of the host cities of the competition. For starters, what is your fondest memory of the Africa Cup of Nations?
African Cup of Nations, obviously for us who grew up in the 90s, it was like... It was the best thing, you know. It was the one thing that we all
on your black
for.
and white TV test.
Black and white TV, West African teams, you know, Cameroon, Nigeria, you know the names, Ghana.
And we wondered if our countries ever played football.
We wondered, East Africa, we'd never had any representation. Recently we have had Kenya, we've had Uganda represent East Africa, but they have failed miserably. Let me even Tanzanians. Ugandans somehow seem...
Well, Uganda has been at 8 Africa. They are going for their 8th Africa Cup of Nations.
Yeah, I don't know if it's just a mental thing where...
Kenya has been at 2 or 3.
Leave Kenyans.
Tanzania going for their 3rd.
Kenya should just concentrate on rugby. I saw the other day, they keep coming up with like different sports. I saw Carol Aradu,
your friend Carol
twist. She's not married. We just come from the same village.
Okay.
But she posted something of some sport that Kenya participated in.
A new sport? Which one?
Something to do. Do you know a game called Kati?
Koko. There's one that
something. It's like
one
Kati.
That was in Asia, and Uganda won bronze. It was the first time I was
you know this game called Kati, where they throw the ball and you miss something like that.
That looks like weapon.
Yeah, it's like Kwepena. Kenya, something like dodgeball that Kenya participated in, and I think they won.
But you're not doing justice to Kenya. At least at least globally, we all know Kenya for track and field, marathons, of course, rugby. What else? But track and field mainly, and marathon, of course, together with rugby. Of course, football, not so much. And just like all the other East African countries, yes, Uganda is going...
call a spade a spade.
Yes, Uganda is going for their 8th, but...
No, let's be honest. We need to be honest.
Yeah, but...
Uganda is way better than Kenya in regard to football. And that's a reality.
And Uganda is also catching up when it comes to track and field events.
Yeah, and they're catching up. You know, like... We need to call a spade a spade. You know, if you beat around the bush.
Let's concentrate on the draw. CAF, the Conference of African Football, have started throwing teasers around, and they are trying to probably keep us in suspense. Of course, before the draw for the African Nations Championship in Nairobi, Kenya, which was a very good event, by the way, they unveiled a new logo for the competition. They also unveiled a new trophy. Of course, we are yet to see the actual trophy, but we've seen the artistic impressions of the trophy. And they are playing the same games with us ahead of the draw.
What do you mean by that?
They are telling us that a number of things are going to be revealed. Now, we don't know what exactly is going to be revealed, but some people are suspecting that probably they could be revealing a new logo. It could be a new trophy or stuff like that.
I hope it's not a new system. You see what happened in Europe. Like that, I feel like it takes away from football. It becomes more of a very artificial.
What do you mean a new system?
You see what is happening, for example, in Champions League.
I don't think we're going to go that direction.
Or what is happening in these European Cups.
I feel the rebrand is going to be around probably the logo or the trophy or something like that.
Yeah. The previous trophy was very plastic.
The current one or the old one?
The old one.
The one that South Africa won.
The one
in '96.
Like, it looked like
the one that had Olympic rings on it.
Yeah, that one looked very fake to me. I feel like this new one, the one with like a head and like so many balls around it, it looks way better.
Would you recommend we change it to a new one or we stick to that?
No, when you keep changing things, we tend to lose a lot, man. Stick to. I wish they could just stick to the original one. They just make it look better.
Yes, but the draw is coming up. What are you looking forward to the most? Of course, Kenya didn't qualify. Uganda qualified. Tanzania qualified. But you, as a person,
what I'm excited about, to be honest, is that the African Cup of Nations will be happening in December. You know, the oomph of African Cup of Nations over the years has died. Like, people are not really excited about African Cup of Nations.
Well, I was at the last one in Ivory Coast, and I must tell you,
you were there. I'm talking about in general in Africa. Like, if you compare the 90s.
But the viewership has improved,
Really?
even beyond the African continent.
Okay.
Because you have different broadcasters globally fighting for rights to broadcast the Africa Cup of Nations in Asia, in Europe, South America, North America. So you feel that the tournament has grown. The eyeballs that watch the Africa Cup of Nations are growing in leaps and bounds. And you feel the fact that this time around it's going to be in Morocco. You feel that probably it's actually going to be big and better. I mean,
obviously,
crossing from Europe to Morocco is very
easier.
easy.
It's easier, you know. Spain, you know, Morocco borders Spain. Yes, I'm excited for that, but I will stick to what I said earlier on. I'm excited that it's happening at the tail end of the year. One thing that you'll have to consider is that the cup is happening in Morocco. That means, and you know, when you look at history, most of the time when this tournament happens that side of the continent, the cup remains that side.
Morocco last hosted it in 1988. This will be the second time they are hosting the competition. When Tunisia hosted it in 2004, they won it. They actually beat Morocco in the final. When Egypt hosted it in 2006, they beat Ivory Coast in the final, if I'm not mistaken.
They beat.
The last time they hosted it in 2019, they didn't even make the final. South Africa knocked them out of the quarterfinals. It was Senegal, Algeria, but still Algeria got to win it.
So they something. I think it's a jinx, and they know it's a very hostile space. I hope you're going there, by the way.
I hope.
They know they have managed to figure out something, some mechanics.
It is always advantageous to them.
Yeah, it's always advantageous to them. But we're excited. I want to see what transpires.
Because we are talking about the season of January in the past, like it used to happen in January. And around that time, it is winter in Europe. And that winter spills over. I've been to Libya for a volleyball championship around that time. It was February, but that was the first time I experienced winter. It was shining, you see the sun out there, but it's very cold. Now you have the AFCON coming around December, like we did say 21st, going into January 18th. So the winter spills over. Probably that is why it goes back to what you said, that the North African countries always have that advantage because the conditions are actually favoring them.
Yeah, it's almost like what you how Russia won, how Russia managed to. But I want to understand this. Does Morocco also experience winter?
No, the European winter spills over the Sahara.
Okay.
Around that. It's not as cold
cold.
or the temperatures are not as high as it is in Europe, but it spills over.
Okay.
Yeah, so if you're not used to that kind of environment, if you're coming from this part of the world, the tropical weathers and all that, of course you will feel the effect of that. So if Uganda, you're Tanzania.
You have started with the excuses, eh?
Not excuses. I'm telling you what is happening.
Just take your boys to training.
You'll find some of the teams going to train in Dubai. I mean, you had a team when the CHAN was going to happen. DR Congo were planning to hold a training camp in Dubai, and Uganda was planning to fly to Dubai to play friendly against them. So you're wondering that you have a tournament happening in Uganda. Why are you camping in Dubai? Why can't you camp in Rwanda or some of these neighboring countries? But growing up, of course, Kenya was not one of those teams that are used to frequent the Africa Cup of Nations. What team were you supporting growing up?
Growing up, obviously, Nigeria.
The Super Eagles.
The Super Eagles. It has always been Nigeria or Cameroon, and
it has always been Cameroon.
It is always for you.
Yeah.
But for me, it's always and it's purely because of Kanu. You know, the Nigerian players that played in the English Premier League, and for Arsenal specifically, or culture. Understand? Yeah.
You'll be shocked. Mine was purely because of Rabat song.
Rabat song. You're a young man.
I've always wanted to be defended, so it was because of Rabat song. But also, the draw, like we did say, is happening on Monday. One of the teams that won't be part of the draw is Ghana. First of all, Ghana have not won the Africa Cup of Nations. They last won it in 1980 something, if I'm not mistaken. They didn't qualify for the finals this time round after failing to get out of the group stages at the last 2 or 3 editions.
I saw the backlash on social media. It
is one of those big African nations that won't be part of the draw on Monday.
It's actually very disappointing. I saw.
So Kenya is in good company. You don't have Ghana.
No. Kenya does not qualify to get into this conversation. I'm very sorry. I'll call a spade a spade. Kenyans need to up their game. If you find yourself defending Kenya in regard to this, then you're in the wrong.
I'm going to share with you a video of the chairman of the local organizing committee, the Kenyan wing, Nicholas Musonye. You know, he was a very, very big man during his days as the general secretary of CAF. He was appearing on NTV on their sports show on Monday night, and he said they have talked to FKF to prepare the Harambee Stars adequately. Now, this is for the CHAN, because he knows that if Kenya can't go far in the competition, Kenyans won't watch the games.
Yeah,
he says, and you are saying that they'll resort to what? They'll resort to Pombe as the tournament is going on. So it's like Kenya, Uganda, Tanzania have to prepare their teams adequately.
But let me tell you one thing that I really want to see. Tournaments that are held in Kenya.
Or competitions that
are held in Kenya. Kenyans have a way of turning it around to suit them. We want to see. Let us see the space. Maybe it is they just need a small push. Yeah.
And for me, one of the reasons why I badly wanted all the 3 East African countries to qualify for the 2025 Africa Cup of Nations, because it would also, in a way, give us good preparations going into 2027. Not only administratively, of course, our officials will be there. A few things to benchmark here and there because the next AFCON is here in the East African region. But you also thought that these teams being at that stage, especially since we don't often play at that stage, Uganda has missed the last 2 editions. Tanzania has also not been there since 2019, the same as Kenya, if I'm not mistaken. Playing the AFCON in Morocco was going to go a long way in preparing our teams going into 2027. Somebody might say no, but remember, it is a space of 2 years. And you feel that probably playing at that stage would have mentally or even psychologically prepared these teams coming into 2027, because we are not qualifying for 2027 because we are already hosts. So not being part of that draw, Kenya not being part of that draw on Monday is probably one thing that...
it's a broken record. We're used to it.
Then you're not breaking any records.
Yeah, like we are the record of not appearing.
Okay.
It is very normal for us. It's not that I'm hating on Kenya, but the people that are in charge.
Do you think Didan should come and
Didan is a Uganda.
Break down these cities.
Yeah. Actually, there's a
just come and tell us about this.
We have a Muzungu from Uganda here who was
the chairman of
the chairman of
December is very far. You never know you could get a sponsor.
Yeah. There's a lady.
Just come and break down these cities for us, please.
I don't remember them.
She remembers them. But it is.
She knows the 6 cities that are hosting the AFCON games off her fingertips.
And Uganda is actually participating in this, right?
Yeah, exactly. Because after the draw, then we'll get to know which cities or which groups will be placed in which cities.
My question to you is very simple. How far do you think Uganda can go?
We can sneak out of the group stages. I mean, we almost went all the way. I don't know how far we would have gone the last time we were at the Africa Cup of Nations, the one that was in Egypt, until we mismanaged ourselves by not holding a training session for 2 days because players were on a sit-down strike. Yet we were playing Senegal at the round of 16. Again, I thought that if we were psyched up very well, we would have been able to win. They eventually won it 1-0. Then Sonyango saved the penalty in that one. But if we had knocked out Senegal at the round of 16, going into the quarterfinals, anything would have happened. So I feel with good preparations, because the tournament is in December, so you get to know your opponents, you have ample time to prepare and go out there and try to put up a show. So I feel we can sneak into the knockout stage.
In the knockout stage, so you don't have any hope.
And anything can happen there.
You don't have any hope of winning the
well,
cup.
I mean,
so where are you going?
No, I mean,
the first place.
There are people who believe it is their birthright to win the Africa Cup of Nations, and unfortunately, we are not in that category. I was giving an example of Ghana, who were last won it in 1982, but they used to come for every Africa Cup of Nations, thinking that it is their birthright to win the Africa Cup of Nations. The same as Brazil. I mean, they come to the World Cup thinking that we must win the World Cup. Now, we, as a country, we are not in that category. But I believe that probably a time will reach and we are in that category where we are going for these competitions and actually people are looking at us and they're like, hey, don't joke with Uganda.
Yeah, Ugandans play very, very good football. They're very organized. I think it is just...
We have a coach who has a lot of experience on the African continent.
True. I think times have changed. And I feel like, you're talking about the group stages. I feel like, Uganda can actually go all the way. To win the cup.
Say that again.
Yeah, Uganda can actually go all the way to win that cup.
The Africa Cup of Nations. You're prophesying. Prophet.
I am prophesying.
Jaluo.
This. No, I'm not a prophet.
But you're prophesying.
But I can see, There are those people in the Bible who could see. I'm one of those guys, Amara.
So potentially, if you're to predict Uganda's group, unfortunately, we don't have the pots. But
I cannot predict the group.
Of course, there will be an Arab in that group. There will be a team from West Africa. At least there should be. What you can guarantee, there will be at least a team from the Maghreb.
A team from West Africa.
A team from West Africa.
From West Africa, we can walk away from. We can beat a West African team. I'm talking about
because you can potentially qualify for the round of 16 with 4 points, and but that makes you qualify as one of the 2 third best placed teams. But if you can get your 5 or 6 points, you automatically qualify for the round of 16. So it is there is always a little bit of mathematics, but the chances of qualifying are always high. But of course, that will depend on the draw. But on the draw, like we are saying on Monday, CAF has already started throwing teasers around. So there could be a few things that they reveal ahead of the Africa Cup of Nations. Like I said, they already revealed there's going to be a new trophy for the African Nations Championship. That is CHAN. They launched a new logo, so you have a feeling that probably those or some other things around the tournament are going to be revealed on Monday. The draw is going to be in Rabat. So of course, because of time zones, it might be a little bit late here in Kampala, Uganda. But the following day on Tuesday, on the Sports Update 7:30, we shall be bringing you all the details that you need to know.
Cool stuff. Yeah.
So you're still rooting for Nigeria?
No, this time I'm rooting for Uganda. Yeah.
They're going all the way. They're going all the way.
Uganda is going all the way, and we will be with Didan in Morocco. We're there. Dedan is my co-host, by the way.
Well, that's all the time we had for you today. Just trying to look at what is coming up and probably share our own experiences of the Africa Cup of Nations. I think we should share our experiences of African football more often, especially since we come from this part of the region that we are just working our way to being giants on the African continent. Clive Chaze with the only Jaluo. Remember to subscribe if you've not yet subscribed. Like our videos. We love it when you do like our videos. We love the comments, the criticism, the abuses, because they make us get better. But also feel free to share these contents with some of your colleagues that you feel
I didn't know I have haters.
No, you don't have haters. They just didn't like what you said.
Those are haters.
They only concurred with one element.
What do you call them?
No, people just share their dissatisfaction. If you say something I don't like every time you want to come here and tell me how some good footballers weren't good footballers, I shut you up and I move on. It doesn't mean I hate you.
You know you're a hater.
Who last time you were comparing who and who?
Who and who?
You were comparing Thomas Partey with who?
No, I was comparing, and this is a question. Listen, this is a very good question. I compared Paul Scholes and Yaya Toure. And these young people, let me say,
we've already said, but we need to get out of here. Legend.
Yaya Toure was way better than Paul. I'm not a Man U fan. Way better than Paul Scholes, unless you are an English guy.
No, we're going to come back for that discussion.
One of these days, I need to explain to you. There's no way you in your right mind will say that Paul Scholes is better than Yaya Toure.
We need to get out of here. Next week.
Let's have that conversation.
Gather your content.
No, me, I already have my reasons. Just bring your squad, bring all the light-skinned people in your family. Bring them.